Good afternoon, this is Scott and welcome to the weekly trade report video. Today is November 19th, 2017. So if we take a look here at the Dow, we can see that the market's kind of resting a little bit. Here was kind of an uptrend line, and then now we've kind of got this kind of sideways action going on in the Dow. So still plenty of good setups in the market, so nothing to be concerned about. Looks like it's just kind of resting from this long uptrend at this point, so I don't really see any concerns with the market at this point. Same with the SPY, had this nice uptrend here. Looks like it's broken it at this point, but could just be some sideways resting action. So don't see anything concerning there with the SPY. IWM, small caps, got this resistance up here. Pulled back and looks like it's rallying pretty decent in the last couple of days. So major indexes, not too much of a concern, but I'm more focused on individual names than sectors, than the index charts and things like that. So individual setups are more important for my trading. Okay, looking at the IBB. IBB doesn't look that great, honestly. If we kind of remove, the one good thing would be that it's kind of held this low support down in this area here, right? So kind of basically at this support level. So this could be a key level to hold, and then as it turns back up, still lots of good setups in the sector. IBB doesn't look too compelling at this point, but could put in a double bottom or just rally from here. XLE, the energy names got hit pretty good. Decent pullback after a big rally. I think the energy names are due for some more upside. I do think this is just a temporary pullback in the energy sector. I think the energy sector is going higher, so I think a lot of those names would be good dip buys. We've seen a big rally in USO, the oil sector. If we take a look at USO, we can see how oil rallied big off after pulling back here. So oil still looks strong, and I still like the energy names. Okay, let's take a look at the individual names from last week. So first up, let's take a look at CDNA. So this one I've been, trying to trade this one a couple times, and I've still got a position at 6. It's kind of taken its sweet time getting through 6. It had a nice break and then pull back and held back below there, and you can see it had a false breakout a couple weeks ago and pulled back. So this one's been in this sideways action, testing 6 for quite a while now. It does look like it's ready to make a move. It looked like it was going to break down. This was a false breakdown through this right in this area right here. This 550 area had a big washout. It looked like it was reversing, and it was going to break down from this high level base, but then it quickly recovered and reclaim that 550 level, and now it's testing 6 again. So I do like the looks of this one. I think it's going to break 6, and if it does, it should be a nice, if it can break and hold above 6, that'd be key, and then the next level will be the 650. But I do like this chart. It is taking its time doing its thing, but I still got a position at 6 and I'm holding on to it. So still like that CDNA. Okay, Twitter. This was a breakout pullback, so earnings winner, and then it basically broke out, pulled all the way back here to this lower support, and then recovered. So this one's now 2076. It looks like it's going back up here to 2050 area, somewhere in here. I tried this one, and basically I got impatient with it, and I sold out, even though my thesis was correct, and it did end up turning up. But I kind of got impatient with it and kind of didn't really want to wait for it. But I do think this one's going to go higher. This Twitter, at least back up here and test this 21, 60, 70, maybe even 22 area in the next week or two. So I still like Twitter. Okay, APTO. This is a great setup if you traded this one. This is one where I was in a meeting and I completely missed this trade, and that's just the way it is sometimes. You got other shit going on and you kind of forget, or you miss these trades. So that's life, right? But anyway, take a look at this one. If you missed this breakout, which I did, I didn't trade it on this big green day, and So I just sat there and I was like, okay, it's just a missed trade. Well, it actually pulled all the way back down here to 178. So intraday on actually on Friday, I was traveling and I didn't really have time to notify anything, but I actually bought some of this one at 176, 178, and I sold it for a day trade at 190 because this is a breakout pullback, right? This key support took forever. You know, this was a multi-month, never broke this level, and then finally broke it, and then pulled all the way back to that level. Old resistance becomes new support, and as you get into that area, it's worth that trade, and that's what I did. And it was a decent day trade there, 178 to 190. So anyway, that was a day trade that I did make APTO, and so this one, you know, could kind of chop around, pull back again. If it gets back to 175, 78, I think it's worth an entry, and could eventually, you know, ramp back up here to 210 in the next week or two. But you know, that's why it was on the watch list. That's why it was that setup was there. Is that was a key level, and that's a, you know, a trade you can make in the future if you see that. Okay, INSM still, you know, in this range. It couldn't break. Key spot at 32. Keep an eye on this one. If it gets new 32, it'd be worth a buy. Still kind of consolidating in this range right here. So until it breaks 32, I wouldn't trade it. You know, wait for that 32 break on INSM. Okay, WBA, this was a nice one from the watch list. I think a lot of other traders on Twitter seen the same thing I did. And here's the setup right there. And so basically right through this 69 area right there. And so if you could have got in right here, it's all the way up to 74. And if you're looking for a target, you would use basically these lows here. So this would be right around, you know, 62 to 69. So that's you know, subtract 60, you know, 69 from 62, give you that delta, and add that to the breakout, and there's your target. But this one, nice move there. Looks like it's almost near the target. On WBA, WUBA, that one, nice setup and nice breakout. Okay, IOVA, this one still is kind of churning below this 8 level. It's been doing that for about a week. It looks like it's ready though. It closed 795. You can kind of see this ascending triangle volatility contraction type pattern. And so I'd keep an eye on this one. I think if it gets through 7, gets through 8, with some volume, I think it could test 850. And so that'd be a first target, and then, you know, beyond that would be a bonus. So 8 to 850. I think it's going to retest this high up here, possibly next week on IOVA. ZGNX, still see nothing here. Kind of broke down below this key support right there at 38. So, you know, overall, long term, this chart looks pretty good. I'll keep an eye on it, but I don't see anything on it right now, so so no trade there on ZGNX. Okay, Lulu, nice breakout. This has been consolidating for a long time. Key spot right around 64. And you can see when it broke that, got a nice ramp and got as high as 67. So this is a nice breakout if you traded that one, and does look like it's going higher. The retail sector all of a sudden is really showing some life. A lot of the department stores and retail stores. I think AEO is a nice one that broke out, and let's take a look at that one just real quick. Okay, this is I think American Eagle Outfitters. You know, this was a nice break through this key spot at 14, but a lot of these retail stores, maybe it's Black Friday, maybe it's the holidays, but a lot of those are perking up, so you're seeing a lot of strength in the retail stores, and a lot of them are beaten down. So you know, another one would be ROST. This was a great pattern, but unfortunately I guess they had earnings and it gapped up, but this one would have been a great trade on the breakout through 66, and it was on the watch list, but then it just gapped up, so there was really nothing you could do about that unless you were in at the close of business on this day here. So, but anyway, strength in the retail stores. Okay, see, next up, MRTX. This one, you know, had this spot right there, and then it basically, the pattern just kind of broke down on this one day, and then it just quickly ramped back up and broke out. So this was basically, you know, I took my eyes off of it when it pulled back here. It kind of gave up, you know, I figured the pattern was broken, and then it ramped back up. So a lot of these names, you just got to keep an eye on them, and watch those key levels. And you can see how this one, when it broke this key spot right around 1580, had a big push there, so that was a nice break. And on MRTX, I didn't trade that, but still looks pretty decent. Maybe if it can pull back towards 16, be worth a kind of a breakout pullback type setup, but nothing on it now after it broke. Okay, ECYT. This one looks real interesting. You know, this one had 2 huge days and kind of been pulling back and consolidating. Looks like it put a double bottom in right here and ramped up to this right around 530 spot, and then pulled back right in here, and then now it's ramping up again. I think this one, if we can get through this 530 area, I could really have a nice push back towards 6. So I think that this thing is kind of rounding out its consolidation and perking back up. So that'd be one to watch going forward, ECYT. Okay, Juno remains on the watch list. It had this big move, pulled back, ramped, almost a double bottom right in here, okay? And now it's ramping right back up near 60. If this thing breaks 60, you can see a nice push. It could get rejected there a couple more times because there's a lot of people that bought there that are going to sell just to get out and break even. But this Juno is very strong chart, very strong name, and you know, I do think this one's eventually going to break 60 and go higher. So Juno still looks good. Okay, HCLP, I liked this one for a while through this 1050, but then it just completely broke down. So you got to see here when these things break and fail, you know, it's completely just gave it all back. So nothing there on HCLP anymore. And you know, when the breakouts fail, make sure you cut your losses and get out. Okay, AMP, another one that fooled me. I tried this one and then it stopped me out. It you know, I thought on this day here, this green day here, that it was going to break through 130, you know, 125 and then 130, and it did. It actually gapped up and then gave it all back. So I cut my position at like 121. I got it in at 120, and so it was a break-even trade, and then it just, you know, quickly recovered and ramped right back up. So it's a missed trade for me, but this is a choppy name, so that was to be expected. But anyway, nice breakout on this AMPE. Does look like it's going to go higher, but remember, it's very choppy, so it could pull back, you know, even back to 125 or something like that before it goes higher. Okay, ANAB, this is on the watch list through 70, right, and you can see how that one just quickly ran. You know, I'd use this low here, right around here. So this is right around, let's say 63 to 70, right, so give you 7 points. From the breakout, and that you can see where it already hit that target, already hit 70, got all the way to 79. So nice trade there. Still looks pretty decent longer term. ANAB. Okay, APPS. This one had a nice spot right there, and you can see tested it, pulled back, and then finally broke. Two nice days there. Nice breakout on APPS. Okay, Fresh. This is a thin name, doesn't trade very many shares, trades less than 100,000 on average. But you know, this key spot, this is Papa Murphy's. This key spot at 6, been testing this for a few days, and looks like it's a key level. I think if it can get through 6, I think it's going to go back up 620 and then on to new highs. I do like the way this chart pattern is developing on Fresh. So I think if you're patient with here, if you enter this one on the 6th break, I think you're going to be, I think it's going to go to 620 or better and finally break this high right here in the near future. It's a really good looking setup, FRSH. Okay, HK, an oil name, looks like it's setting up key level right on this 720. Longer term chart. It's been testing this level for quite a while, and I think this one's eventually going to break soon through the 720 area. So HK I still like. Okay, KANG, this one looks really good, and the key level right there. Okay, so right around this, 1460, and you can see it's been testing that for quite a while. This is a nice long base, and it's kind of putting in what looks like kind of an ascending triangle type pattern there. So this Kang, I think, is ready for a move to the upside in the near future. Keep an eye on Kang. Okay, Edit, another one I really like. Choppy name, but I really like the way that the pattern's developing. 25 seems like a key level, even though it's poked its head through there a few times. It's always failed. So this Edit, I think through 25 looks good, and I think it could test 26 and maybe even 27 next week. Okay, ITEK, this one had a spot right at 3, got rejected, so no trade on that yet. Maybe if it perks back up near 3, it'd be worth the trade, but I don't see anything there on ITEK anymore. Okay, OMED, decent chart. It had a spot at 5. It broke it. Looks like it pulled back and closed above it. So overall, chart still looks good. Ideally, you'd enter this on a 5 break, and looks like intraday kind of gave that another entry point on Friday and closed up at 520. So I do think this OMED's going higher. The entry point is right around 5 if you can get in at that price. Okay, HIMX, a couple key levels on this one. The pattern was kind of like this, and so as it broke through 11, that would have been your trigger. And this one has a nice push. Longer term, the key levels up here, which it finally broke that too, right there, 1150. Looks like it pulled back and held that. So I think at 1150 is probably a good entry on this name. It does look like it's going higher. This Himex Technologies, nice looking chart there. Okay, so CORI, this is an A+ setup for Monday. So it's got the pattern and it's got the volume. This thing traded huge volume the last couple days, relative volume, and it closed right up here, basically at the high of these candle wicks. And it actually broke through the high just slightly, just barely. And you can look at the volume, and this thing is huge volume the last couple of days. So I think this CORI is going higher. This is definitely a top A+ setup for Monday on CORI. Okay, ASND, another nice looking one here. Real good volume on Friday. Key spot right around 37. Big breakout, kind of pulled back, flushed out, and then now it looks like it's ramping back up. I think it could test 40 in the coming week or so. Okay, AMN, this is a general building material sector. It looks strong right now, as well as home builders, and so this pattern looks good. Another one in this sector is CRBP, but this one had a key spot right at this 44, and you can see it actually cleared 44 on Friday and closed above that. Looks like it's wanting to go back up here and test this 46, possibly next week. So this AMN looks really good. And another one in the same sector is this CBPX as another one in that building material sector. This one's been trying to get through this 27 spot for several weeks, and you can see it's tested it, and then now it's just kind of looks like it's ready to break to that 27 spot. I think it can do 27.50, even 28 in the next week. So CBPX looks good. Okay, big, just another example of these retail stores really starting to perk up. And so this is a Big Lots, and you can see the pattern right in here, right? So there's a kind of a bull flag type pattern. You had a nice break out of this range. So that was a nice trade if you traded it on big, and I do think that it's going higher. Okay, FMSA. So this is This one looks fantastic for Monday. I think this is probably, my top watch through 5 on this FMSA. Just a beautiful chart pattern, beaten down name, and this chart just looks really really good for a 5 break. So I'll keep that one on your watch list. FMSA looks great for Monday on the 5 break. Love that setup. Okay, KAMN. This is a defense contractor. You can see a big run up, kind of the sideways choppy action, and trying to get through this basically range right there. And looks like nice volume on Friday, and it's perking up, trying to break out of this range. So I think KAMN looks like it's ready to head higher. Okay, AXTI. Let's kind of remove this one. Key spot right here. So basically at Friday's high, which is right around 956, 950 area, is a key resistance, and you can see it tested that. So I'd keep an eye on this one through that 950, 960 area. Looks really good. AXTI, I think that one's going higher. Okay, and then let's take a look at this one. This is 8x Inc. And you can see that right there, right through this area, right in here at 1420. Looks like it's ready to break out of that range, and I use this depth here for a target. So 13 to so about $1.20. So I'd give you a target of around 15, maybe the high of this 1520 area right up here on EGHT. Okay, guys. Next week's a shortened week. We have Thanksgiving, so I think Thursday's off and Friday is like a short day. So let's make it a good week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.